Hey, Felix, how's it going, dude? You jumped on right away. I literally just started streaming. How's it going today? Going good. I'm trying to play a horror mode in Verity. I've never heard of this before. What's Verity? You play a lot of games, dude. Let me see. What's Verity? Oh, is this a Minecraft mod? Yeah, so today I'm just trying to get the inventory kind of sorted out, or at least to get the algorithm or the array to start reading into the inventory so I can start populating the inventory. But I gotta run some filters on the interaction script to make sure it actually knows how to, that it's smart enough to know when it needs to, or it's smart enough to know the context of the interaction. So let's get started. What am I gonna do here? Let's see. If I do this without, I don't get any errors, so that's good. The inventory UI is not ready yet. I have no idea what the inventory is going to look like. I just know it's going to be a grid of squares, basically, with icons that fill them. I don't know. I haven't done any design work on it, so the point for me right now is just to get a functioning inventory, and then I can do design on it later. Right now, it's more important that I get the code right. I have no idea what music's in the background. I don't even really listen to it. Oh, it's lo-fi hip hop from Epidemic Sound. Hey, Hussar, how's it going, dude? Yeah, I'm on a bit earlier today. Trying to change my schedule a little bit so I can kind of take care of everything in the morning, and then I have basically my entire afternoon to do this, to stream, including the evening, so I can go until whenever I need to go now. So, how you doing today, Hussar? It's true. Set active rotation to this. Uh, I'm doing all right. Just trying to figure out the just filtering the interact button right now, making sure that it filters properly for context. Yeah, not quite full time. I mean, we are more or less, because I'm off work, obviously. So, yeah, that is the big question. What happens when I go back to work? I have no idea. I gotta be honest. I'm so into this work there now. I really don't want to go back to work, but obviously, I eventually have to. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Apparently there's a lot of work coming, so I'm told there's going to be a ton of work, so I'm looking forward to getting back to doing some work in movies and stuff, but at the same time, I know I'm going to be disappointed um, by not getting to work on this as much as I want to. So yeah, I don't know. It's a well, I mean, that really didn't work, but why didn't that work? That's weird. Set active rotation. Let's just do this then. Nothing fancy. Oh, right, because I gotta get rid of that. Getting any errors? No? Okay, so let's see if I move this. over here and have it in with the doors. What does it do? Am I getting any errors? Nope. Cool. All right. Basic filtering is working. Oh, yeah. I don't know how many doors are going to be in the game. That's just there for me to test the filter, because I'm working on an an interface script. So I just need to check that the interface is actually filtering properly, so that when I click on a door, it opens the door and not tries to delete the door. So it works. But yeah, no, of course, you would never snap a door. That would look stupid. Yeah, it's nice to see things changing as it comes along. I mean, it's slow going at this point because we still have to build all the systems in order to get everything inside. So my brother ended up actually writing all of the item scripts. So the inventory, all of these functions were written by my brother. The two main functions are obviously add item and move item, and these are just different little support scripts. But it's nice to be able to, so that he can hand off code to me and I can actually work with it. I can hand off code to him and he can actually work with it. So was a kind of like a proving ground sort of thing, just to make sure that that is something that we can actually do, because it's one of the biggest hurdles that I was thinking that was going to be a problem, was being able to handle code that he writes and being able to kind of slot it myself into his code and be able to organize and make sense of it. But programming everything to a function was really smart on his behalf, just because it just means I have to plug data in and it spits data out, right? So that's becomes super useful for me. Okay, so let's just check this branch node actually works. Huzzah. Doors open. All closed. That's good. Thanks, dude. Yeah, we're getting there. We're coming along. It's starting to move forward a little bit with a little bit momentum, or at least we're catching some momentum now. So I think we're thinking about putting up a devlog. At least I'm thinking about doing a proper devlog, kind of just showcasing the changes and all the new implementations or the new system implementations, and yeah. Yeah, well, that's the idea. That's the hope, at least. We're probably this channel is going to be focusing more on art and kind of like, I guess I'm reluctant to I don't want to post too much stuff about programming and because I wanted this YouTube channel to be mostly about art, but it's slowly turning into like a game dev channel, I guess. I don't know. I go where it just naturally kind of changes, but yeah, for the game itself though, because obviously it's not just me working on it. We're thinking of starting a channel just for the whatever we name the game studio, and then we want to kind of showcase. We're trying to pick a name and stuff like that right now. We have a name, it's just we're not 100% confident about it because we're not 100% sure that we're actually making the game that I've been describing to you, right? That's the target, but things could change along the way. So it's in constant flux. It is constantly changing. So I don't know. I think we're pretty firm on our studio name. We just need to do a little bit of branding and kind of get some logos and do some channel stuff. And I don't know, just kind of get a YouTube channel ready so that we can post to that. Because I kind of want the game studio to exist a little bit differently than than this current YouTube channel. So yeah. Okay, so the filter's working now. What do I need to do? Okay, I gotta do a BP item. We are going to work on a construction script. Oh, no, it's more difficult than I thought. Shit. I'm gonna take a short break. I'll be back. Hi, Sarah Wild. How you doing? A little warm though. Yeah, you're not complaining about warm weather, are you? Where are you at? Actually, pretty warm today in Toronto. And they got a game tonight. We got Croatia versus Panama tonight. So it's gonna be a hot one. Okay, that's pretty warm. 40 degrees, 98% humidity, and no AC. That sounds, yeah, no, that sounds really bad. Where do you live? You must be south of the equator. Or right on the equator. Yeah, I know. I've heard in France they're actually they've banned daytime drinking or something like that. The bars can't serve alcohol or something like that during the daytime because it's too hot. 52 degrees north. Ah, yeah. Okay, yeah. I know there's a heat wave pretty much like scorching that side of the planet right now. Yeah, I know France has outlawed they've had some sort of alcohol prohibition during the warm weather. I don't know if you've ever had a drink in the sunlight when it's like scorching hot. It's brutal. Like you just want to pass out. Ah, you're the first Welsh person that has popped by my stream. Welcome to the stream, Sarah. So are you interested in game dev too? Are you a game dev as well? Or are you just interested in video games? Oh, nice. The UE5. Yeah. I have been having a ton of fun in UE5. Did you check out the UE6 announcement? I was watching the video the other day, and I gotta say, I'm disappointed and excited at the same time because Blueprints is awesome. I've been having a ton of fun with Blueprints. It's really cool, really fun, really easy, really accessible, very difficult to read. Uh, so I think because you got to follow all these pins and all these things, it can get complicated very fast. So like the inventory scripts start to get really, really spidery, right? It's like particularly this area here, as I start to filter for quantity and quantity stacks and all that other stuff. So this is not easy to read. Whereas I do find if you code well and you can write code well, you can read that almost like a sentence. So I'm excited for Verse. I'm a little disappointed because I spent a lot of time learning Blueprint, and there's plans to deprecate it. So, but like I said, I'm excited for Verse. I think I'd like to see, because I have been playing with the idea of switching back to C++. Oh, nice. Did you publish your games on like itch.io, or is there anywhere I can check them out? Okay. Items, meshes, ocean. Yeah, that sounds, I don't know too much about Lumen yet. We haven't gotten into the rendering phase of our game yet. I mean, we've been doing graphics and stuff like that, but we downloaded Cinti assets as kind of like a stand-in for our assets as we kind of start working out the designs. Check this out. A random rabbit. I really like the music in your trailer. Game looks like that, what's that game that I'm thinking about? Where you like walking through a subway tunnel and it keeps changing and you have to make decisions based on the changes. That's cool. I wish I had time. Like, I wish I had thought of something a little bit more. 15 time. I just had a short clip. Yeah, it's a great trailer. I really like the music in it. It's I guess I'm imagining it's some sort of puzzle platformer, right? I wish I had thought of a simpler idea. My brain doesn't just, I don't know. I guess those I don't play a lot. I play a lot of like roguelites. I play like Moonlighter, Path of Exile, and yeah, it's for me. We were thinking of making like our first project initially was a side scroller. We were remaking a game from the 80s, from the 1980s called Legacy of the Wizard. And so we had started kind of building that up, and then we kind of realized that we were doing it just because we wanted it's just because we were not confident enough to kind of go for a game. But then as we kind of thought of an idea for the game, we started to get more comfortable in it. We got more confidence to just kind of go for the game that we wanted to go for. And so we kind of landed on like it's a survival craft. Yeah, I guess we'll call it a survival craft. Yeah, again. That awesome. Thank you so much for that link. I definitely, because I've been trying to look for music and sound effects and stuff, but my biggest problem is I was looking at Epidemic Sound, which is what I'm using to stream the music right now. But the thing that the problem that I've bumped into with Epidemic Sound is I don't know if they have a deal where I can purchase the music from them outright, or license it in perpetuity. I don't know what the business terminology for it is, but basically I want to be able to make sure that people who buy the game and are playing the game can also stream the game. Unfortunately, with the music that I get from Epidemic Sound, you can stream the game with Epidemic Sound music, but you have to have a subscription to Epidemic Sound. And that is really unfortunate because there were some really, really good songs on Epidemic Sound that I wanted to use, but yeah, so I think that's ultimately what I'm gonna have to do is find an artist, a musician, and I don't know, I guess cut them in on the project, because we don't have any money right now. So maybe if we sell to a publisher, we could potentially have the publisher help us with the music. But yeah, it seems we might not have a choice but to do Epidemic Sound and just have a streaming mode within the game that turns off music, or until we can get our own custom music. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna give it a shot. Even just the music that you've popped into your trailer, I really like it. I like the tone. I like the atmosphere of it. Nice. Humble Bundle. I should sign up for Humble Bundle. I just feel like I'm gonna get a lot of stuff that I might not use, and that just ends up. It feels very wasteful. How do you like Humble Bundle? Do you like all the stuff that you get from Humble Bundle? Like, what kind of options do you get to choose? The kind of the bundles that you get, or how does it work? Got music for a harp in a book. I'm around 1300. I've been trying to get played. Yeah, I've heard that's kind of it's hit and miss, but I guess that's sort of. No, I go the 1300s. Yeah. Yeah, I hear it's a bit hit and miss, but every now and then you get like a nice, like a pretty solid package of stuff, and it almost makes all the other misses worthwhile. Okay, so construction start. Nice. I can drop potions everywhere now. All right. Can I pick them up? That's the big question. All right. Pick you up. Pick you up. Pick you up. Pick you guys up. Now it's not printing. Shoot. Maybe I don't need this branch. I like how in your features, you just have rabbits. Do the rabbits do anything, or are they just there? Oh no. Dinky and Marble, well, at least they made it into the game. They've been memorialized and immortalized in your video game. That's pretty awesome. Dinky and Marble. I did notice them in the trailer. I was like, oh yeah, there's a rabbit there. What did the rabbits do? Did they do stuff? Do you have them doing things in the game, or are they kind of just like little Easter eggs that you stumble across and have a little cute moment with them? Okay, so it's not. Oh, I know why. Because it's not printing an item ID. So... Oh, I like that. Yeah, it's a neat little addition to the game to have them kind of like guide you through there. We've been thinking about doing an NPCs in our game, but I don't know. We're very worried about scope creep. Needs 4D spatial display map. So what are you considering 4D? What are your dimensions? Obvious, the three obvious dimensions. 4D, I'm used to hearing the fourth dimension as time. So how are you measuring 4 dimensions? So which dimensions are you using? I mean, is there a time factor in the game? Time is not a dimension. I don't know about that. I think you might be wrong about time being a dimension. Maybe in your game, but I think time is an actual dimension. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not in your game. Well, from my understanding of time is time and space are interrelated. So you cannot have movement without time. So in other words, you cannot travel through space without time. Right, because everything is measured. Right, so if I need to go from point A to point B, there has to be a time factor that is measured within that space, right? Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, so what's your fourth dimension that you're using in your game? Is that another axis of movement? Is that what you're considering it? Well, you do understand that time changes, right? So the closer you are to a gravity source, the time measures actually differently. And we know this for a fact because the GPS systems when they fire a signal, they have to be corrected by several other GPS signals, because there is a time factor, because time is measured differently in orbit than it is on the Earth. I guess I don't know. I guess I have to learn. But from my typical understanding, that a 4D, yeah, time is a separate dimension on its own. In physics, is known as the temporal dimension, which acts as a way to measure physical change and sequence of it. Together, 3 dimensions of space, height, width, and depth, time makes up the fourth dimensional fabric of the universe, as known as space-time. Just as you need 3 coordinates to pinpoint locations in space, you need a 4th coordinate to pinpoint when an event happens. How it differs from space. Though time is classified as a dimension, scientists treat it differently than spatial dimensions for 2 reasons. Direction of travel. You can move forward, back, left, right, front. However, in our everyday experience, we can only travel through time in one direction. Measure units. While spatial dimensions measure distance, time measures duration and is tied to the speed of light. So that's my classical understanding of time. Maybe it's been updated in recent years. Yeah, I do. I use quaternions, and when I use Blender, and there is a time factor that works with the thing, but I do find using the Euler method a little bit more straightforward, because the quaternion it's hard to predict the time factor and how that's going to affect the rotation of an object. So I prefer using Euler. Yeah, there's ways around gimbal lock. I've been animating for 20 some odd years, so it's really it's a physics phenomenon. It's unavoidable, but there are ways to ensure that you don't run into this problem in 3D, just by making sure you have a good parenting system, so that you're accessing specific axes when you need them in the parenting rig. Item name. Okay, so this should now attach an item name to this thing. Okay, nothing. Still not picking up. Why is it not picking up? Oh, wait. I need to do that's why. Can't pick up something that doesn't exist. And there they are. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just I don't under I guess we have a different definition of 4D, right? Because yes, the fourth dimension is using a time. Well, I don't. We obviously have a different definition of what we're trying to figure out here, or maybe we're just not talking about the same thing. Okay, Sarah, I'm not here to argue with you. Like, it's sort of irrelevant to me what is going on with that because I don't. You're right. I don't understand spatial. Maybe I don't want this to be rolling all over the place. That's not what it should be doing. Print screen, it should be. Screen. Okay, so the root type is stackable. Something here is bugging out. Existing locate item ID. GT items. Max stack size 10. Tool weight. Have fun not learning, I guess. Thank you. I will. Find existing stack size. Find another stack. Stacks. Existing stack. Sets local item ID, request quantity, got that. Hey, CS Media, how's it going? Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I just inquired as to how she was defining four-dimensional space, and I don't know, I guess she got upset because I didn't understand how she was dealing with 4D space. Refining's going good. I've run into a bit of a problem because my my add component, my add thing isn't detecting right now. So I'm spawning in some bottles here, some potions, and if I'm gonna pick them up, I'm getting them, but they're stacking as individual stacks as opposed to stacking in. So it should be health potions 5, not health potions printed 5 times with the 1 on it. And I'm thinking it's happening right here because this is where my debug is telling me that it's happening. So I got 2 there. I can see it can add slots. So it should be branching out from there instead of it's creating a new slot. Because it needs to max stack size. Find available stack. And it's returning false. I think what's happening here is I need a trick. Oh, sorry, trick. I need a filter here to check against the inventory slots that are available right now. So it looks like I need a loop here to run the inventory slots so I can check against the max, the local ID or the item ID. But I am working because this is my brother. So this code is handed off to me from my brother. So I'm just trying to kind of work out what he's done here. I'm kind of slowly making sense of it right now. Get data table row. Yeah, that's fine. That's get current weight. I don't have to deal with that. Is stackable. Okay, so it finds is stackable, find existing stack. So this is where I'm failing. Find available stack. Inventory. Ah, that's why. I found it. Because I have changed the Huzzah! Got it. Yeah, it was one of the things that my brother and I were talking about, and we were like, this might be a problem because my brother is far better at coding than I am, like far better at coding than I am. So my biggest worry was taking code from him and being able to slot myself in and try to pick it up from there. But so this was our first kind of test to see if we could hand off code, and I think we've been relatively successful because I was basically able to refactor everything for this now. So and I'm able to solve smaller problems like the one here. The problem is I wasn't writing to the proper array. So I've stored the player the inventory array to the player state. That way, when the player dies, you don't lose. Well, you're gonna lose everything in your inventory when you die, but it's not automatic, right? It's part. It doesn't happen by default. We actually are gonna code that in. Whereas, if you just leave the inventory, basically anything that needs to persist needs to live off of that the character. So we've been using the player state as a place to kind of temporarily store it, but even the player state gets wiped when you change the level. So in order to maintain it, we then have to push it one level even further up the chain to the game state. or to the game instance to then save data when you exit the game and stuff like that. So, or it's probably we'll have to create a save file of some sort that we're able to use to reload the data. But yeah, we've been yeah, so these I gotta swap out for use slot. So everywhere I see that, I gotta switch this. Can add slot, find available stack, add a new stack, and here. Yeah, no, that this has been a huge thing. It's not always obvious where something should live, so it does what you want. Yeah, no, this has been a very problematic thing for me. I think, but this is I think this is a common bump for most people when they get in. I don't know. I can't remember if you're working in Unity or Unreal, but the casting nodes have been just a giant pain in the butt. Just because they're so finicky, on top of which, like, it's often recommended you don't use them, but there are specific situations where you can use them. And then it's this object pin that goes into the player control. I can never figure out exactly what object I'm supposed to plug into the object. Yes, and I don't know, like we've started figuring out and just kind of started working as kind of just what would you call it, as our methodology basically is just attaching components to all of anything that we want to work on in a modular way, so that we're not stepping on each other's. So while I'm working on inventory and the interact, my brother is moved on to, or he's refactoring all of the AI code for multiplayer. And yeah, so, but the nice thing is, because we're working inside components, we're not worried about stepping on each other's toes. But we occasionally do have to move up the hierarchy and make adjustments to the, I guess you would call the parent class. Which means you kind of have to get the other person to stop working on, if they're working on a player component, then they got to kind of stop working on it, because it could potentially break once you do the updates. So it's been a pain in the butt. Yeah, so from what I understand about casting is, like, because a lot of people are going to talk about casting, oh, you should avoid casting at all costs, and I don't think this is true, right? Because I think, so the way casting, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, based on what is so casting is basically creating a variable that points to a block of memory. Okay, the problem is if that block of memory doesn't already exist, then it has to load it into memory, right, in order for that cast to work, the pointer to work, right? So what ends up happening is, if you start casting to things that don't need to be loaded to get information, because you're like, oh, I need information from them, or I need it to send me back information, and you start casting to things that aren't loaded, it will automatically load it into memory. And this is where you start to have that runaway overhead effect, because if you get too comfortable using casting nodes, you're gonna blow up your memory, right? Because now everything has to load in order for the cast to work. So just, I think the last couple of days I've been learning about interfaces, and the interfaces is a solution that kind of circumvents casting, because the interface doesn't care which blueprint you're sending. It's just sending data, and it's up to that blueprint or up to your code to interpret that data afterwards. So you're not actually creating a hard reference. So a lot of the time I end up, even with a component, I'm casting back up to the player controller, even from a component that is attached to the player control. I don't know if this is correct. As far as Gemini has told me, I don't, I'm sure somebody at some point will be like, that's totally wrong. You shouldn't do that way. But as of right now, this is the way I'm doing it. But as far as Gemini has told me, it's not that big of a deal to cast to, for example, the player controller or your player blueprint, only because you're going to load it every single time. It's going to load into the game every single time. So there will always be a memory block for your player state, your game instance, your player controller, and your whatever blueprint you're using to as your player. So casting to player is not that big of a deal. Casting to player controller isn't a big deal. It's when you start casting to objects that don't necessarily need to be loaded in order to get data or transmit data. That's when you end up creating a hard reference. That's my understanding. I'm only repiping it just so I can, kind of lock it into my brain, and hopefully that you're there to be like, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. But yeah, it looks like, we pretty have. Yes, it looks like we pretty much have the right understanding of casting. I mean, I spent like a whole day kind of just doing the research on it. It's not that it's bad. It's just there's appropriate times to use the casting, and other times it's better to use an interface. Or I guess the other way to transmit data to another blueprint is the event notifier. So that I have not even played with yet, so I have no idea what we're going to be doing with that. I'm sure it'll probably be useful somewhere. Okay. Let's see. T-shirt. Yeah, no, I probably made the big noob mistake and started using cast nodes. Originally, when I started casting, I think everybody makes that initial mistake of putting their casting node into a tick. So you're firing that cast node every tick, every frame, which you're probably not. If you're casting to something like it's you're probably not going to get any performance hit if it's just one cast node. But it's if that's the way you're gonna do it, you're definitely gonna run into performance hits later on if that's how you're gonna do it. But you know, a little bit of cursory reading, just some basic understanding of how to format and structure things in Blueprint pretty much teaches you how to avoid kind of that stuff right away. Instead of just I just run it on a begin and just assign it to a variable. So we don't have to run it on a tick. Okay, so I have the item now, checking the inventory. I'm able to spawn the item. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna need, oh, I need the icon. And 2D texture. And what was my other item? Mushrooms. Add mushroom. Mushroom description. Eating the mushroom will give you enough now. Stack 20. Inventory weight 0.01 is stackable. Is consumable. Put on a hotbar, and I don't need those two object type pickup. Save. Yeah, I saw your gun model. It looks dope, man. It's can't wait to see it actually textured up. How many polys were you able to keep it under? Like, how many polys did it end up turning up to be? Mushrooms and potions, yeah. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, that you got some pretty good details. And once you get the textures in, it's gonna look dope. Last time I modeled a gun, and I ended up using, it's just there's so many parts in a gun. I think I got carried away and just started going full res on it. And now, mind you, I wasn't modeling it for a game, so I wasn't thinking of the economics of the poly count. I was just kind of modeling it for a high res model, and I ended up close to like 150,000 polys on it. I had every intention of reducing it, but it was, I think the project, I just got bored of the project later on. And probably will revisit it at some point. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take a short break. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have this thing working now. Now I think I need to make an actual UI. So where are my widgets? Looks like I'm gonna have to do some research on widgets here. Yeah, sorry. It's a lot of work though. No, I'm having a blast doing it. It's very satisfying when you actually get the code to work and start stacking things. And yeah, no, I've been having a lot of fun with it. The UI is, because there's so much functionality into it. I underestimated how much work was actually going to be involved in coding up the widget. Because if you think about how all of it works, everything is almost dependent on the inventory in a survival craft game, right? Because you need to be able to read all the data in your inventory out against like your, like let's say you make a furnace and you grab ore and you're trying to smelt ore or something like a forge or something like that. Once you click on the, or you open up the forge, that forge has to read in the data from your either your inventory or the inventory of your space, your base. All right. So the things we were thinking about in Valheim, because in Valheim everything is done manually. I think they have some workshop mods or mods for the game that give you some quality of life upgrades. But like in Valheim, by default, you actually have to manually grab the resources and stick them in your pack. But in Windrose, as long as it's in your inventory in your base, it automatically knows it's there, and we prefer that. Yeah, and as well, there's drag and drop components. So because we're going to be doing vicinity looting, we want to be able to drag from the vicinity and into the loot or double click it. So we want the inventory system to be intuitive and robust, in the sense that there should be a familiarity to it. So if you've played Diablo or Path of Exile or DayZ or any games that have like an inventory, we want to try to amalgamate all the quality of life stuff that comes with inventory systems and code that into our game as well. The reason we're putting extra effort now, or I'm putting extra effort into the coding of the inventory, is because it's not necessarily something that's going to be in a quote unquote survival craft game. But we are going to be, if any kind of RPG is going to require an inventory system. So if we change our idea, at least we know that the inventory system will somewhat remain intact, because even if it's not the specific game we intended to make right out of the gate. Yeah, we're pushing for all of it, pushing towards that. But when it comes time to actually do the combat, gather resources, and do all the other stuff, that's when we'll kind of make a determination as to whether we keep driving at a survival craft game or if we want to repurpose what we've done for a different style of game. So, but survival craft is the goal. Hey, Frostmaster. Did you start the inventory for the client? We started the inventory. We haven't refactored for client yet, though. I think it should be. I think what we need to do is just basically refactor the inventory in the player thing. I have to do a little bit of research into it, but I think we got to make sure that all the requests are server side first. This way the client can't, the client has to request it, right? So if I want to drop an item, it has to send to the server to then say, can I drop this? And the server says yes, right? So Just as far as I understand in terms of multiplayer structure. So we're just trying to get the inventory kind of functioning first, and then I'm going to refactor it properly for multiplayer. But for the most part, it is working. I'll show you real quick. Hopefully you can see this. Yeah, so I'm able to spawn some stuff here, some mushrooms and some potions. And let's see if we pick up. So if I pick up one, I have to sort that one out. But yeah, so I can print it. So I got 1 health potion. If I pick up all this other stuff here, it will then bring it in and stack. Though I'm not sure why the health potion has changed there. Should be, yeah, health potion 6. Okay, yeah, so that worked. Just, yeah, so it's all working for the most part. I just need to now access that array and then actually build icons in an inventory grid. So the interesting thing is, let me check if this actually does anything. Yeah, so right now you can't see any of the spawns of the potions from the client side, but you can see the client is holding on to its own potion value. So it's potion 6. And on this one, we're getting potion 7 and potions 9. So they're keeping their own data. I just need to make sure that it syncs properly with the server, and that when they do a drop and spawns an object, like when you drop and spawn an object out of your inventory, that needs to be piped over to the server as well. So I don't think there's a ton of refactoring. I could be very wrong. I could be very wrong. But I think I want to get the inventory sorted first, and then we add the multiplayer stuff after. At least that is how I found it to be the simplest method so far, but who knows? I'll refine it as I go along. Yeah, it's coming along. Of course, I hit a spot where I'm just like, oh, I don't really know how to build widgets and talk to widgets and get them to nest with each other. So I'm kind of just running through the tutorial now to. Seems pretty straightforward though. Okay, so I got the inventory slot working for the most part. Let's just test this out again. So if I try health potion, changes the health potion, and then if it's less than one or less, I don't get an icon. So if it's 2, here we go. Okay. Okay, I think that's a good endpoint for today. A little bit too much time in the tutorial, but what are you gonna do? Gotta learn this stuff, so. All right, anybody still there? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the support. Tomorrow I will probably start using this icon to populate a grid inside the actual inventory window. So let's see how that goes. Anyways, thanks for tuning in today, guys. See y'all tomorrow. Cheers.